Faraz's four eyes widened in disbelief as he froze mid-step, his clawed hand hovering over his plasma rifle. In his 3 decades of security work aboard the Celestial Exchange Station, he had witnessed countless bizarre incidents. Smugglers, illegal gene mods, even a Vrelian attempting to sneak 40 kilograms of contraband spice through customs in its stomach pouches. But this was unprecedented. A human female walked casually through the lower market district, her dark hair pulled back in a simple tail. She hummed something, a human melody no doubt, while examining a vendor's display of crystallized nebula fragments. Behind her, in a perfectly straight line, waddled 3 Zarkai cubs. Faraz's translator chip struggled to process what his eyes reported. Zarkai cubs, the offspring of the most feared apex predators in 7-star systems. Their kind had evolved on a death world where the gravity alone would crush most species' bones to powder. Adult Zarkai stood 3 meters tall, possessed razor-sharp talons that could slice through reinforced steel, and had been known to hunt in packs that decimated entire colonial outposts. And these cubs, barely knee-high, their silver fur still fluffy with youth, were following the human like she was their mother. Security to command, Faraz whispered into his comm unit, never taking his eyes off the impossible scene. We have a situation in Sector 7. Define situation, his supervisor's gravelly voice crackled back. A human has somehow acquired 3 Zarkai cubs. They're following her peacefully. Static silence. Then, repeat that? Faraz didn't need to. His supervisor would see it soon enough on the surveillance feeds if he wasn't watching already. The human, her station ID registered as Bella Chen, xenobiology researcher, stopped at a food stall. The cubs stopped too, sitting back on their haunches, their multiple eyes fixed adoringly on her face. Their tails, which should have been lashing with predatory intent, wagged gently. Would you like 3 portions of the raw Kevin meat? The Throlian vendor asked Bella, his voice trembling. His species had been prey to Zarkai for millennia before both achieved spaceflight. Oh yes, please. Bella smiled warmly. They've been so good today. Haven't you, little ones? The cubs chirped. In response, the sound that emerged from their throats should have been growls, roars, the screaming challenge of an apex predator. Instead, they made noises like earthbirds welcoming the dawn. Faraz approached slowly, his rifle lowered but ready. Miss Chen, he called out carefully. I'm going to need you to explain this situation. Bella turned, her expression shifting from surprise to understanding. Oh, I'm sorry, officer. Did I forget to file the temporary custody permits? I could have sworn I submitted them this morning. Permits? Faraz's mandibles clicked in confusion. Miss Chen, those are Zarkai cubs. There are no permits that allow... Actually, Bella interrupted gently, pulling out her datapad. Regulation 7 Alpha 9 states that licensed xenobiologists may provide emergency care for juvenile specimens of any species, provided said juveniles are non-threatening and... Non-threatening? Faraz gestured at the cubs with all 4 of his arms. Those will grow into killing machines. They're babies, Bella said simply. She crouched down and the cubs immediately pressed against her, actually purring while she scratched behind their auditory ridges. I found them in the waste recycling sector. Someone had abandoned them. Can you imagine? They were scared, hungry and crying for their mother. Faraz watched as the most dangerous juvenile predators in known space melted under the human's touch like snow in sunlight. So you just picked them up? He asked, his training warring with the evidence before his eyes. Well, yes. Bella stood and the cubs returned to their line behind her. Humans have a saying, all babies are cute, even the dangerous ones. These little guys needed help. What was I supposed to do? Leave them to die? Most species would have, yes. Faraz's voice rose. Zarkai cubs are abandoned specifically because they're too aggressive to raise. Their own parents leave the weak ones to ensure only the strongest survive.
It's their way. Bella's expression hardened.
Not anymore. Not while I'm around. She distributed the raw meat to the cubs, who accepted it delicately from her hands that should have been bitten off at the wrist. They ate slowly, occasionally glancing up at her for approval. Faraz's comm unit exploded with chatter. His supervisor, Station Command. Even the Zarkai ambassador was demanding an explanation. But Faraz couldn't look away from the scene before him. This was humanity in a microcosm. This strange, resilient species that had clawed its way up from their own death world. where they'd somehow befriended apex predators called wolves and transformed them into companions called dogs, where they'd taken in fierce felines and named them cats, where they'd looked at virtually every dangerous creature on their planet and thought, "Can I pet it?" "Miss Chen," Feroz said finally, his voice softer, "you do realize that when these cubs grow up, they'll be powerful enough to tear through bulkheads?" "I know." Bella smiled down at the cubs, who gazed back with absolute trust. "But they'll also remember who fed them when they were hungry, who kept them warm when they were cold, who loved them when they were abandoned." "That's insane." "Probably." Bella shrugged. "But that's how humans made friends with wolves 20,000 years ago. That's how we turned the most dangerous creatures on Earth into our best friends. We saw past the claws and teeth. We saw the potential for connection." The smallest cub, the one that would likely have been the first to die in the wild, rubbed against Bella's leg and looked up at Feroz. Its eyes, which would someday strike terror into the hearts of prey species across the galaxy, now held only curiosity and innocent wonder. Feroz lowered his rifle completely. "You're going to change everything, aren't you?" "You humans," Bella grinned. "We're certainly going to try. Come on, babies. Let's get you home." As she walked away, the 3 Zarkai cubs following faithfully behind, Feroz realized he was witnessing something that would echo through galactic history. Humanity hadn't just reached the stars. They'd brought their most dangerous gift with them, the absolute insane conviction that anything, even the galaxy's most feared predators, could become family. He shook his head and resumed his patrol, already composing his incident report in his mind. Command was not going to believe this. But then again, when it came to humans, nobody ever did, until it was too late and the impossible had already become reality.